trust technology.
Yeah, that's true.
I literally, it's like every time.
It's like when I leave the house, I'm like, am I sure I unplugged the iron? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. I have major trust issues with technology.
Well, it's better to
And
be safe than sorry.
let's start with, I guess, how we met. Do you
Yeah,
want to share with, first of all, this is Bethany, entrepreneur. How would you define yourself?
Gosh, I'm a values and connection coach.
So what does that mean?
So I have noticed through the 38 years of my life that people struggle identifying, where they belong, who they belong. They're constantly chasing something and yet finding nothing that feels fulfilling. And what I've identified, personally, and I've noticed professionally with people, when you're able to connect truly with your core values, whatever those look like to you, everybody's are going to be different. You can then base the conversations that you have, the people that you allow in your life, and the direction that you go with your life is going to align with your core values, will be fulfilling.
Yeah.
You'll find what's meant for you. You'll have the conversations that are meant for you. You'll have the people that are meant for you around your life. And at first I went through this season of what seemed like loss, right? People fall off of your life.
Yeah, everybody does.
Some of the habits you perform fall off, and you're like, well, wait, there's like massive changes happening.
Right.
But if that's what we're really truly seeking, is to find fulfillment, along with that, you're going to have change. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, what feels like a season of loss opens you up to this season of bringing everything that's meant for you in your life.
Yeah. I would say that's probably like transformation, transition. Those are those gaps where we do go through these cycles. Like even like biologically, it's proven that every 7 years we change. Mm-hmm. So being a master at figuring out how to deal with those transitions. I mean, think about how much we transition in life. And that's why it's so important with what you do as a coach. Every time you go from elementary school to middle school, there's a transition. You have a fear. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to go to a new school, a new area. Then you go to middle school to high school. There's a transition, mm-hmm. another fear, mm-hmm. the fear of the unknown. Then you go to high school, college. There's a transition. College to the real world. There's a transition. Job to job to job to life to relationship. There's so many transitions in life. And how would you say, you've dealt with the transitions in your life?
Oh, wow. Well, each transition obviously is different.
Yeah.
And the way I deal with it really is going back to those core values.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Understanding that this transition is meant for me.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because you hear it when you're living in this victim mindset of, oh, life is happening to me. The right way to think is life is happening for me. Yeah, I think that's an elevated approach. But really, when you are one with life, you realize you are the co-creator of life. You're one. Everything that is meant for you is within you. It's discovering it as you're walking out your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of people that the reason why they feel so lost maybe is because they have never been able to express who they really are authentically? They're not able to. I feel like we've built a society that kind of programs you into fitting into a mold instead of mm-hmm. allowing you to be yourself and express yourself. It's always, no, you can't be that loud, or be more quiet, or you have to dress this way, you have to put these corporate clothes on. Mm-hmm. It's always these things, and then all of a sudden you get a little bit confused with who you are in life because you're so like, you're putting on a clown nose, and you didn't want to put a clown nose on, but just to be able to get that job, you had to put a clown nose on and a clown hat, and now you're a clown, and you get paid to be a clown. I mean, that's like a serious metaphor, but like for real, maybe the dude didn't want to be a clown, but his
Exactly.
family was professional clowns and in the circus for years. And
Sounds like my family.
all of a sudden, this dude, he's like, man, I don't want to be a clown, but my mom and dad said I have to be a clown, so I get up every day, put my clown shoes on. I mean, that's a really rough metaphor,
I love
but
it.
let's transition into how we met. I met Bethany at John Maxwell conference, where we were connecting with people, learning how to, what would you say,
Leadership.
leadership, speaking, connecting, and just developing ourselves. And so from there, uh, exactly, I'm not sure. Oh, we had dinner or lunch.
Yeah, yeah.
I just picked a table.
You picked a table. I was sitting with Yvonne, I think,
Yeah. Yep.
and the three of us clicked.
Yep.
And that night, we all gathered together. We decided to start a mastermind together
Yeah,
and
that
really
didn't.
keep each other accountable.
Yeah, that didn't go very long. I mean, me and Bethany have been continuing it. Let's just say that. But for the rest, I don't know where your ship is. I'd love you to sail back home. I'd like you to sail back home and maybe, but no, all jokes aside, we still talk to these people today.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing people. That was just a joke.
Their ship had to pull out of the harbor for a while, take a new adventure.
Yeah. Yeah. So then from there, we just stayed connected. We then connected at this NFT event, I think, and in Miami. And then we connected at the Minnesota Gary V Friends. Shout out to Gary Vanderchuck and V Friends NFT project. It's a dope project. If you haven't heard of it, go check that out. That's one of the best projects out there. I think he's really doing something that is going to be a generational impact, and you'll see it evolve over the years. Something to pay attention to. So then from that, we just continued to chat and say, hey, we wanted to take everything into our own hands, and we wanted to start a piece, a podcast with interviewing authors of books, coaches, CEOs, entrepreneurs, athletes. So this is kind of our intro to us. So
Yeah.
I told you I was going to ask you a question that I didn't know the answer to. I feel like I know the answer, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Boy.
Where are you originally from?
Oh, that is a great question. So do you want to know where I'm actually was born or
Yeah,
my
born.
heritage?
Yeah, born.
I was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Ugh, oof, that's rough. I took a Greyhound bus one time from Minnesota, and for some reason we went through Green Bay. That wouldn't make sense because I was going to West Virginia.
Oh dear.
But we went to Green Bay, and like, yeah, you meet some good people, well, some interesting people on a Greyhound bus. I think it was like 32-hour drive or something crazy. Okay, so then you're in Green Bay for how long?
Oh wow, you want this whole story?
Yeah, I just want to know, you're born there. How long
Yeah.
did you live in Green Bay?
Well, I lived in Green Bay. Actually, I was born in Green Bay. We lived in New Franken, Wisconsin, which is more towards Door County. It's just at the bottom of by Egg Harbor. Um, I lived there for 15 years, 15
Okay.
years of my life. And then at 15, I went to go live with a girlfriend of mine in Frazee, Minnesota for a
Okay.
little bit. And through that, I was part of a religious homeschool program. And then through that, I went to Indianapolis.
How was
for
the
a year.
homeschool program?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a
How long do you
believer.
have?
Yeah, I don't think I'm a believer in homeschool. I think there's so many things that you need to learn by being around people. I think it's good, I guess, in certain families that want to protect their children. And maybe some kids, like I know some kids that don't even have the grades to get into public school, which I've never heard of.
Okay.
Shout out to my little nephew. He's homeschool. Um, so, maybe that's the option. You got to stay home and go to school. But how'd you like homeschool? What was that like?
Okay. Well, if I may, just to spin off on that thought, I think, in terms of homeschooling, um, everybody has their own opinion, right? They have their own ideas, their own views, their own dreams, their own goals. I think it's super important if parents decide to homeschool, which I totally respect that. I do. I know some really brilliant people who have come out of homeschooling, and when
Yeah.
parents, it's the intent behind the homeschooling. I
Yeah.
think that really makes a difference.
Right. Tim Tebow was homeschooled.
Yeah. So it's parents getting with their children and making sure that whatever they're educating them on aligns with the child's vision, the child's dream, because you're there really to like grow and support and mentor your child to become the best version of themselves, not the best version of your dream.
Yeah.
And so for me, that I didn't have that experience. Mine was a very, very tight and very religious, and we did something very unconventional. We did wisdom booklets. I was
Okay.
homeschooled through the Advanced Training Institute International program, which was a very different homeschool program. And keep in mind, I'm 38. So, I mean, how many years ago is that? Homeschooling has evolved and come such a long way
Right.
since that time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, as a professional, as a single mom, like homeschooling wouldn't be the best option for me. Like everybody
Yeah.
has to decide. Homeschooling for me, I honestly begged to go to school. I begged
That's
and I begged.
that's
and
interesting.
I cried.
Yeah, I hated school, but at the same time,
Oh,
dude, looking back, there is so many great things that
yeah.
happened in school. I mean, I would have never uh, played sports, and I would have never connected with some of the best, just
Yeah.
so many great memories. I mean, even as far as like middle school of kids staying in the bathroom and lighting trash cans on fire. And
I remember my dad told me he'd throw cherry bombs in the piano. Like,
it's just like
so
the
bad.
bathroom is just where it went down. Like there's so many stories of the bathroom. Like kids would just put like stuff on the walls, like dropping a bomb at 3-3, like, and all of a sudden our whole school was out that day and nobody could figure out who put the pencil on the wall that said dropping a bomb at 3. It's like nobody dropped a bomb. We lived in West Virginia in Winfield at that time. It's
Okay.
which is the middle of nowhere. And we didn't even have the technology to do that. So the fact that anybody believed it, but we took everything serious.
Well, you have to.
Yeah, I would take that serious. These cats that did it, they were some stray cats. Actually, they were pretty interesting people. Okay, so homeschool. You're a fan or no? You don't know. It's just
It's so something that I've learned throughout the years are OPOs, other people's opinions.
yeah,
And for me personally, my experience as a child in that moment was not good.
okay,
However, looking back, I have to say that I'm actually extremely grateful for that
Yeah.
experience, because I would never be who I am today. And I actually had so many opportunities in that
Yeah.
that I would never have gotten. Like, okay, we traveled a lot.
yeah,
We traveled so much. My dad owned a business, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So we got to travel the world, have all these unique experiences, different cultures, different people, different faiths. Even though we were, true to one certain faith,
yeah.
it sparked such a curiosity in me that I never let go, and a grit and a determination
Yeah.
that I can't say that I wouldn't have, but most likely wouldn't have developed in a classroom.
Yeah, I think. What's your opinion on it's like, how are you going to look at your life and be like, no, I wish it didn't go that way? Because then I feel like you would be living your life out as if you were always trying to fix the past or something, and you'll never be able to move forward. It's almost like you have to embrace. It would almost be weird for you to be like, no, I still to this day am pissed off that I was at homeschool
Oh,
because
yeah.
I wish I could fix that. And because then it's just like constant regret. And then you bring that into all your relationships and you're always regretting something. So it's almost like, what's your thoughts on, even the bad things that happen? You hear people say, well, I wish that didn't happen. And there are things like in my life that I'm like, man, I wish I didn't do this one thing that really ruined this situation. Like, and it was such a little thing, but it ruined maybe a relationship. And you do want to be like, man, I just wish I didn't, unconsciously abuse drugs or and just fall into traps that were uncontrollable that put you into new life circumstances when you wake up and you're like, oh shit, everything's different. So like for me, it is hard to say like, it's sometimes hard to say like I wish or I wish I did it better, or I wish it didn't happen, because sometimes I play teeter-totter. I'm like, I kind of do wish it didn't happen, but at the same time, I know it had to happen in order for me to grow and be who I am. And it's like, am I really going to get mad that the last chapter of my book was, a part of the story that was the downfall just to set me up for the hero story? So I can't be mad at that that aspect.
It's what really creates the essence of your story. It enables you to reach such a broader spectrum of people and create more. I don't even like the word hope, because hope leaves room for
I hate
question.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring
Fuck's hope.
certainty. Let's bring vitality to the
Right.
world. Like hope.
Yeah. I'm not going to hope. Oh, something, not to go off topic, but that's something I've been talking about every single day, is being statistically successful. I'm not going to sit here and fantasize and hope for things to happen. You have to statistically have some sort of measurement that you're doing it every day. That's why running a mile every day for me is super important, because that's my first challenge that I hit. And it's like, okay, at least I'm statistically going to be healthier and and build that aspect.
Well, God does not steer a parked car. So, I mean,
Right.
you have to use the fuel that he's given you to rev the engine and make it go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think transitioning from your story of Wisconsin, now you're in Minnesota, homeschool. We'll transition straight into, because we got a little off track there, but let's transition into, so that was life. And then did you go to college?
I did eventually.
Okay.
Actually, I went twice.
Okay.
So, I've kind of lived a life of back and forth. So I I was living in Indianapolis for a year and worked with juvenile delinquents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So at 15, I actually went through a rigorous one-on-one program that allowed us to room with these juveniles assigned by the court system and get to the root cause of these the decisions these children were making and what was impacting their life, and kind of circling back to that earlier conversation we were having of
we just
we just lost a
we
little
just
bit
lost
of
light. Let me go check that out. You can
I think
continue
maybe
that
just
thought
open,
if you would like.
open the door.
But
Maybe opening the door would
I'm
help.
gonna go check that out.
Oh, there we go. We needed movement.
Oh, we need to move. So now that I'm up, I'm just gonna check. Make sure this camera's
Okay, perfect. So I think a reason why I love working with youth, right,
Yeah.
um, is because there's less layers to peel back. You know,
True.
there's way less layers. I think the reason why so many people are lost in their life
There's so
and
many
where they
damn
want,
layers.
yeah, where they want to go, what they
Yeah.
want to do, is because going to back to the clown, right? You do it because you're told to do it, or you do it because you have a belief, and that is really the mind cycle of life, right? Your thought becomes a decision, and your decision becomes an action, and your action becomes a habit, and then your habit becomes a belief, and then your belief becomes your identity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so working with children, it's like this little
Yeah, there's not so
innocent.
much time that has been manipulated.
Yeah, yeah, and yet at the same time, some of these youth, the things they have been through in 11 to 15 years is
Yeah.
more than average adult will experience in their lifetime. I mean, it's just, but yet their hearts are still so much more tender, to an adult who's finds them, you know, accepting, and a peer, an
Yeah.
acceptance of peer. And I think that's why this program was so brilliant, is because it's peer-to-peer mentorship. It's not just some authoritative adult telling them what they should and shouldn't do and that they were bad. It's pouring belief into these kids and eliminating those limiting beliefs within their hearts and their minds, and then creating possibility. What is possible for your life? You have this blank slate in front of
Mm-hmm.
you. Your past doesn't define you. What can life look like from here on out? And that was so fulfilling to be able to help those children rediscover who they actually are, not what they've
Yeah.
been told, not what their actions have done, but who are they at the core, and what does life look like from here,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And helping adults do that is possible,
Yeah.
but there's so many more layers, which takes so much more time. um,
It's this ongoing
right.
cycle of when we continue to evolve,
Mm-hmm.
it's this ongoing
Mm-hmm.
cycle of awareness of
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, today I'm here, and looking at the channel that is replaying in your head and saying, okay, I'm in a state of happiness right now because, on TV there's a channel clicker, and
Mm-hmm.
same reality with our energy in our
Mm-hmm.
life. We're in a channel of energy when we wake up. Are we happy? So we were like, okay, I just want to keep this energy. But something happens when we lower our frequency and we fall into, maybe we casually started to browse, and we,
Mm-hmm.
are now we're on a fantasy show, and we're not in the happy show or the romantic show. We're in a fantasy show. And this, when you get lost in fantasy, maybe you get a little depressed because these guys are driving luxurious cars or whatever fantasy
Mm-hmm.
show you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start to judge yourself. So it's just being, I think, personally, everything is awareness. I think being aware of what state you're in every 30 minutes to an hour,
Yep.
just being consciously saying, okay, I'm happy. Great. Let's do whatever I got to do, work out, whatever business, whatever it is. But then the moment you start to get a little bit sad or anxiety or whatever, why? And just really, that's how I've
Mm-hmm.
been. And honest to God, I'm back to, I think it's been 20 days since 20 or 30 days since I've, uh, maybe 20. I don't know how many days it's been since I last drank. Here's
Mm-hmm.
my story on drinking. I went 6 months no drinking. Then I was just like, what the fuck? Why am I not drinking? I was kind of bored, to be honest. I'm
Really?
like, dude, I was with my friend in Miami, and I was just like, fuck it. Like, seriously, this is my brain. This is me being super honest with you. I was like, why am I even doing this? I'm kind of bored.
Hmm.
So then I did it, and then I was like, whoa, like 2 drinks got me blasted. And,
Mm.
and, it took me about a week or two to recover. And then my awareness was like, I can't touch this.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I'm back on the run, on the sober train run. And I'm really not returning just because I am so aware. And it's like this energy that you just feel unstoppable. And every single time, back to this exact being aware of your channel of energy that you're in, I uh, every time I would drink or something, I would be all of a sudden like have super anxiety, and I would just kind of zone out. Like I would focus on like things that were not even real. Like just because I had a drink that night, I would focus on like I'd wake up and be like, why am I not here yet, or why am I not there yet, or and just all this judgment. And it's all from just one night of drinking, because it's proven that it will make you have anxiety. I don't know how we got into that
That's
segment.
okay. But I wanna comment on that if I may.
Yeah.
So proud of you, first of all, for
Stop real quick.
what?
I just have to get this out before you,
Do it.
you know,
Get it out.
I want your thoughts on this. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, 6 months drank, then didn't return.
Okay.
Then a month later, no drink. Then August, 3 drinks. Then September, 1 drink. August, September, October, 1 drink. That was a wild 1 drink too. 1 drink. Oh, sorry. When I say 1 drink, I really mean I drank once, meaning I drank unlimited drinks, but I drank 1 time that month.
Okay.
That's different. There's a big difference.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean 1 drink as in I drank once that day, meaning the whole day I drank. And so that night and I haven't drank since then. Yeah. So anyways, continue
So,
that thought.
I was going to say awareness, and maybe that is what took is to create that genuine awareness, because the formula for change is awareness times willingness. Okay? If you're aware but unwilling, you're not going to change.
Yeah.
If you're willing and
I'm so
aware what
willing.
needs to change, you're not going to change. So it's being aware, and that probably caused the amount of awareness you actually need
Yeah.
to propel that change in your life. And it's just, and going back and questioning why that happened, you could go back and be like, why did that happen? Why did that happen? But you know what? Where your focus goes, your energy flows.
So true.
It really, truly does. So why are we, we can go ahead and reflect. It's important for us to reflect on our actions and why we're doing them, but don't stay there. Let's focus where we're going to go from there.
Where's
it's the 80-20 rule, right? And I like to tell my kids, you actually get 90-10 because we're overachievers. It's focus that 20% or 10% on the problem, and what is the 80 to 90% solution.
Yeah,
it's always solution. What's next?
I think the problem, I'm just speaking from my own experience, is I think the problem people have is it's like this all or nothing mentality. And that's what I am. I feel like I have even a better story now, because going 6 months was like cool, but a lot of people were like, yeah, but that's cool for you, but I kind of stumble sometimes. And so then I stumbled even after that. But I think it's like some people just all or nothing. And if if they're not on a roll, then fuck it. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's not, I've been doing it consistently, then fuck it. I'm just going to do it casually. And so what I feel really confident in now is just, preaching that, like, hey, yeah, I put it out there that I was never drinking again. Yes, I went 6 months. Yes, I made a mistake. I'm a human. And then maybe a few more. And guess what? I'm going to make probably a lot more mistakes in life. But learning from this one mistake and figuring out what's the best solution and being more aware to the reason why I want to drink and where that seed is planted. But yeah, I've been building up, and I feel really good now. I feel like I'm like more aware than I ever have with just that aspect. And again, I don't know how we get into these little rabbit holes of these different segments, because we were just going down. So let's just go from where we were with where you were at. I think one thing that was kind of cool about your juvenile experience, it was coaching them, right? Or just helping them?
Yeah, it was It was actually rooming with them. It was
That's
a new
crazy.
program, a trial program by the state of Indianapolis, actually. So we would get assigned a juvenile delinquent that would normally go to a delinquency center, and we were rooming in a 13-story hotel. And
That's
there was
cool.
2 leaders per juvenile. And we, after going through a 15-week intensive program on how to get to root causes, psychology, things like that of youth, that is when we would start rooming with them.
Yeah.
And they actually were taught learning. You know, they had education centers, so they were able to keep up with their education. But they also were taught a skill. So it was set up like a hotel where we had housekeeping, kitchen prep, kitchen cleanup. So they had responsibilities as well.
Hmm.
So they were taught how to, move through life with certainty and responsibility. And, I'm really proud to say that there was a 99% effective rate with this program.
That's
So
pretty
when
cool.
kids did exit the system, they didn't really overturn back into the system.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the age? Because what age was that for you? Do
I
you
was
remember?
15, 16.
Okay. Okay. So, what age do you think you became more aware of just your actions and your development as you were setting goals? What age do you think you started even? What age? Okay, let's start here. What age do you think you even began to think about a goal? Like,
Day one.
okay,
I mean, I was
true.
such a dreamer.
I think I was too.
Literally in my,
Yeah.
because I knew what, based on what my parents wanted for me, what I
Yeah.
couldn't do. My destiny was to be a stay-at-home mom, barefoot and pregnant.
At
That was my,
like just out of the
yeah.
womb, you're like, I'm
No,
staying home.
no. That was the destiny my parents set for me.
Oh,
Out of the womb, I had such an imagination, Jake.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Were
I
you
s-
building with
I
Legos?
I built with Legos. I
Yes.
had the little kitchen sets. I would always play diner.
Yep.
Did the
I did
average
that
kid play,
too.
but then
Did you have a
here's
register?
here's the oh, of course.
You were making money.
Oh, of
You're
course. I mean,
Yeah, I had
yeah.
one too.
But for me, I would take all my baby dolls and I would put on my most tattered clothes and I'd put them in like little rags and such and I'd tie them all to me and I'd get bags of Cheerios and I pretended that I was the leader of an
Smuggling cocaine?
orphanage.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Cheerios. I guess I could have gotten some powdered sugar with that.
I mean, you're
Put it on
pretty
my
close.
Cheerios. No. We were running from the Germans. We were in wartime and we had to leave our orphanage because
See,
we were about to get bombed. And then we would go hide behind the couch. Between the couch and the window was this cavern of a mountain. And then in my bedroom, I would play, prince and princess. And, I'd pretend that I was a ballerina on stage, or I was in Switzerland somewhere climbing a
yes.
mountain. I remember, I'd go down and I would tell my mom my dreams. And one of my big things, my mom was a great artist. She did so many wonderful things. And the fact that she chose to stay home with us and mentor us was amazing. Um, I think because of so many limiting beliefs she had on her own life,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't pursue a lot of things she could have done.
Yeah.
And I'm still encouraging her to this day. And she's finally now at 64. She's writing a book, but I always knew
That's
she could do it.
awesome.
Yeah. But yeah,
Maybe her parents didn't push that.
she was a kid that played alone all the time. She was the kid
Yeah.
that, she grew up in, their dad worked 3 jobs to have them grow up in a very nice neighborhood, but she wasn't the kid that wore the big hats and the fur muffs and would go to Florida every 5 days as groupies.
Yeah.
She was, she had to just kind of live life on her own in a lot of ways. Kid of 6. So, anyway, I would go down and I would tell my mom my dreams. I really wanted to go be an artist in New York, be a designer, be a ballerina, be all the
In
things.
which you are a designer. So that played out in real time. I remember even building, like Legos. Like, there's this dude, my neighbor, his name was Dennis Cherkosky. The dude ended up getting a degree at Kentucky
Yeah.
for engineering. But this dude, this is before YouTube. This is like literally like early internet Well, actually, we had internet. Yeah, we had internet, but it was like internet started what 1995.
I don't know. We didn't have a computer or a TV growing up.
Yeah, so this was crazy because these dudes built hoverboards without it YouTube. Built hoverboards and they'd go down the streets. They were Russian. They were geniuses. They build these hoverboards, get on the hoverboards, use this remote they built and just fly down. And so a lot of my building came from like I'd be the Imagineer, like the Imagineer, and he was like the engineer. And I was like I would build
I love
like
that term,
I would
Imagineer.
I would build like the Legos and then he'd put the damn engine in it. I'm being serious. Like we'd turn into a remote control car, but I'd build the concept and he would,
Brilliant.
dude, and it was so sick. You'd have this Lego remote car and stuff. Dude was,
Why didn't you sell those, man?
he probably did. I don't know what he does now, but I know I
Look him
mean,
up.
whatever he wanted to do, he could because at that age, I would just be. Then I think that's so important with relationships. We don't even realize. Like I'm the one building the concept. He wasn't gifted with that imagination to build that concept, but he loved it. He's like, damn, that's sick. Now let's put a real ass engine in it, and it's like. Yeah, hell yeah. We'll make it even cooler because he's using his gift, which is technical skills. Okay, so you got out of the womb and you were just
Indianapolis.
setting goals and doing push-ups straight out of the womb.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I was. I think I was I don't know though if I would say maybe right out of high school if I'm being serious like when I really saw a future in my life where I'm like I want this in life, a family. I want, house or whatever, where I want to live, like real things, tangible things. I think I started setting goals at like right out of high school. I think I was like, high school for me was a big facade. I knew it was fake. I knew it was not stupid. I just knew everything that I was doing was not real because we had all these technology and the iPhone. And so then I went to Minnesota, kind of just started setting goals, saying, what do I really want in life? Lost everybody, lost all my friends, and said, okay, what do I really want in life? Started setting goals. I guess, what would you say, has anything similar happened like that to you in your life? Like at a certain, I'm talking not young, I'm talking like 18, 19. Was there ever somebody, you did something that you shouldn't have done, or maybe somebody did something to you where it caused massive transformation for you to be like, okay, I'm alone? Because I feel like we all have those moments where we do something, whether it's a job and we get cut, friendship we get cut, a relationship we get cut. Has there been a moment like that for you in your life? Or no, you've been just perfect?
No, believe me, I have not ever been perfect. I would say, actually, my level of tolerance, I think, for what I'm willing to accept has been a big downfall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I can relate to that because I think we want to fit into being accepted, and we feel like, damn, I almost have to fall to this level of stupidity or fall to this level of ignorance so that I can keep this relationship or job or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
And we do that. I've done that in jobs a lot. I'll fall to the level of stupidity even though I know I'm like, I've already smelt it out.
Yeah.
I've already, it's almost like
I've lost relationships over a man. I remember I had this boyfriend that I thought I was so in love with, and I let him go through my phone and say, okay, you have to delete for this person, you have to delete that person. I
Yeah.
mean, just massive control.
yeah.
And what you think is love is blind, and then to be able to watch what were girlfriends that were standing by your side trying to help you release yourself from this, and you were too stubborn to realize, and now you've lost some really great relationships in your
I
life
see that. Yeah, I see that.
because I wasn't, again, connected to my values.
Yeah, but what if it would have worked in the opposite? Like, what if you were right,
Such as,
You're saying your friends advised you, warned you, but it could have also played in the other way where you were right, And I
Well,
think you were blindly just giving by faith. I think when we give faith into a person, and then even when it's corrupted, dude, I just personally believe we all have the ability to be corrupted in certain stances. It doesn't
yeah.
matter. I love the people that think they can never be corrupted or they're perfect. But truly, if I put a big enough price tag on what I want you to do, things are different. If I put a certain person that's a certain celebrity to corrupt you, you can be corrupted, and to think that you can't be corrupted is more scary because you're ignorant, or you think maybe you're perfect and you're not, because you can be corrupted. And there's levels, and people fall into traps, but
Well, I mean, and long story short, I am grateful that I went through the experience that I did. I'm not grateful that I lost my girlfriends. Um, but and ultimately I have an order of protection against this gentleman because he did try to kill
damn.
me multiple
Well,
times.
shit, me too.
Stalked
Nah, I
me,
can't. My
and
legs.
you know, it turned
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
massive abuse. But at the same time, I'm so grateful I went through that experience because I can now walk down the street and I can identify a woman who's going through abuse just by the look in her eye or the action she takes, and watching couples how they interact.
Oh, that's a
You pick
big
on you really really, I mean, you pick up on subtleties that you never would have noticed in everyday life
yeah. Hold that thought
if
real
you
quick.
hadn't had that experience.
Well, you can continue that thought.
But
You can continue that thought
no,
if you want. I just want to check
it's totally fine. So, gosh, we've meandered all over the place.
this. Yeah, but this is
But this is so raw and it's so real, and it might be sketch, hot topics for people. It might be sketchy topics. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, just
Everyone's
don't. No, but for real, it's just topics that they need to be put into the light, and
absolutely.
and the things that are in darkness need to be uncovered. And I really feel like God has called me and you, and in a way, to be and speak light onto things that are dark, because it's one thing to hear it from a male, but then it's another thing to hear it from a female. And it's almost like we've come together to reach this domain that was impossible if it was just me and a camera. But the fact that it's two versions, two sides, female and male, it gives it so much power. So let's transition into, we just talked about basically just a background of you, but let's get into what are, some things you are looking to. Do you have some goals that you're trying to achieve? Are there certain goals that you're trying to achieve? Is there anything that you're personally doing? I know you help a lot of people with mindset and
Yeah.
coaching, and I can't say this word. It's
Neuro linguistic programming, neuroscience.
yes, and you've helped me with that a crazy amount of times. I mean, this girl, if you're ever feeling like damn, like I'm confused, like I don't know what to do, and I'm also just confused, like, and I don't even know why I'm confused. I don't know if anybody's been out there where you're like confused and you also don't know why you're confused, and then this is the chick you call and you talk it out with, because you can just call her like me and be like, hey, I'm sad. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Okay, well, let's dig through this. Let's figure this out. Or, hey, I'm confused, or I don't know why I'm confused. And just the stuff you say is so smart. And it's so, after I left that phone call, it was like I was lit on fire and my flame was back. Like I was out, somebody blew it out. They went, whew, and it was out. And then I just called you, and you just flicked it back on, and all of a sudden I was aware. I was like, yeah, why was I thinking those things? So why don't you tell us a little bit about what is I'm going to attempt to say the word neuro-linguistic.
You got it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
Neurolinguistic programming.
Yes.
Sure. Well, it's really, it's it's a program. It's more of a scientific program of
Like
the mind.
in the brain,
Yeah.
figuring out what's going on and why, right?
Right.
Okay.
So Richard Bandler was the gentleman who started neurolinguistic programming, and he was actually a software programmer. So if you think of our mind as software,
It is.
and it is software. And his best friend's dad was a psychologist, and so he would have fun going over to his friend's house and reading his dad's psychology books. And then he got to thinking, like, you know, what would it look like if I wrote a program for the brain? You know, and how to decode the brain, right?
Yeah.
So it's really a method on how to decode your brain, your thoughts, because every time you have a thought, it creates a neural pattern in your mind, and every time you have that same thought, you're thickening that neural pattern in your brain, and that's why we form habits, and our habits become our beliefs and our identity. Is because we're actually thinking our identity into place each day. And every time you have a thought, it triggers your body to create a protein makeup of your body. So, I mean, you're literally creating the future of yourself through your thoughts.
Okay.
And
you can continue, or you can let me ask this question.
Go ahead. Please do.
So then what would it be? What would you call this behavior? I twist my hair. I literally do this whenever I'm just like not even thinking, but I've been 2 days of not twisting it. But I would literally sit like a monkey and twist my hair into knots, and I would get all these knots in my hair. And I've done it since high school, but I do it every day. And then I get to the shower, and the only way to get them out is to shampoo them out because they're knots. They're like literally, I twist them until they get knotted, and I just start a new knot. What would you call that behavior pattern? Because I literally looked at my hands the other day and I said, I am not putting these damn hands on my head because I just am exhausted of just wasting energy doing this when I'm focusing on something. Is that something that neuro-linguistic programming can solve?
Well, guess what? Here's the exciting part. Everybody can solve their own problems. They have everything within them to create the power and the answers that they need.
Damn.
So I'm not solving anything for
yeah.
anyone. You're
Yeah.
doing it on your own.
That's
All I'm
so
doing
good.
is asking the questions to get to the root cause, to create the awareness, and hopefully you generate the willingness
Yeah.
and mirror those two together to create the change.
Wow. So it's basically because you can't change somebody that doesn't want change. That's
Right.
impossible. You can give them all the knowledge, all the programming, but at the end of the day, they have to be the one that say, hey, here's the questions, here's the solution, here's what I need to change. Why do you think it's so hard to change a behavior?
Because you've written that neural pattern and
Over time?
Yes. And it's science that 92% of our thoughts are reoccurring from the previous day. So if you have a certain habit, you're thinking a certain way, and you think that way 92% over and over and over again each day, you're just thickening that belief. You're thickening that habit. You're callousing it. You're ingraining it into your brain. But it's okay. So going to like quantum physics, right?
Yeah.
Our atoms, they did a study where atoms under observation actually act differently. So if we can create awareness and have this coaching, and that's why every coach needs a coach. I have coaches. I have multiple coaches for different reasons. And it's that observation that helps propel the change. And so that's why, for me, having a series of coaches is really important, that I can continually evolve and change and cause awareness. And because we all carry blind spots.
Yeah.
And so...
Do you think a big problem with just people you've talked to, do you think when you're trying to create that new behavior, because that's essentially what you're doing, you're taking an old behavior and saying, how can I remove it? But then maybe put that energy into establishing a new pattern, a new behavior. What is do you think, say some kid in Huntington, West Virginia. I mean, that's where I'm from. But like some kid, you know, anywhere that's just in a bad environment. Do you think there's environmental things that are triggers? Do you believe
Oh,
in that?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You become a product of your environment.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why being aware of your environment,
Yeah.
and again, going back to your core values.
So what would you do to change that behavior if you're like, crap, okay, I'm stuck. I have to live here. How would you go about changing that behavior? Would you maybe, this is just me speaking, would you maybe say, okay, literally, I just need to change my day-to-day operation so that it looks different because it would create a new action? Would you start with that? Okay.
I think I would start with asking, like, what are your actual possibilities?
Yeah,
Like,
which are
have you
endless.
written in your mind and made a decision that this is, you have to live here, or
Right.
are there other possibilities?
Can you move in with a friend? Go to
Um,
your uncle's house. What do you have to do?
Is there someone from a church, or there's so many different
Yeah.
possibilities. Honestly, if your mind can conceive it and your heart believes it, you
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, I know, and people hate that because it's so easy and it's so like cliche, but it's so true.
It is.
It's
Life,
like so
people
simple.
overcomplicate life.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really that simple. And like some dude asked me on Instagram, "Man, you got to be on the roids.
Yeah.
You got to be
Yeah.
taken serious."
Yeah.
And guess what? Back in college, I did take steroids, 100%. And I'm cool with sharing everything I've done because honestly, I don't want to lie about anything. But I used to. I can tell you 100% no. I can blood test it. I equate all my success as just being like physical success. I don't even know why people think it's success. Maybe it's because I have abs. I don't know what it is. But maybe that's what they want to achieve. And they're like, you got to be on the roids to get those abs. And I'm like, no.
It's
They
diet.
said, what should I do? And I said, run a mile a day. And like, they hate that answer because they're like, fuck, no, it can't be like that simple. But yeah, it's just run a mile a
And
day.
eating clean.
No,
No.
I'm being dead
You
serious.
don't eat clean.
Here's my rule.
Okay,
Here's my rule.
You do have some special body.
Okay, thank you. Here's my rule. My rule is this is what I do. I just drink coconut water or I eat fruit till like 1 or 2 or 3. But lately, I'm dead honest with you, I just do 1 meal a day and I pick the time period that I want to do it. But I usually exhaust myself as far as I can, like an intermediate fasting. But like literally wake up, hit the gym, and then I drink coconut. I've been just drinking coconut water, which has calories in it, so
Yeah.
you don't get hungry. And I do that till like 3. And then I'll have a meal, just whatever I want. Taco Bell, pizza. I don't like Taco Bell, honestly, but that's the first thing that came to my head because that was the last time I ate out. But pizza, whatever I want to eat, and that works for me because you're only eating once, you're drinking a lot of fluid, and you run that mile a day, and then I do other movements and stuff like that. I just add more responsibility on stuff that I can do. So. But like circle back to your point. It's like all the answers are very simple, but what I think you're doing is very important as a coach and as a somebody just to be there that we all need to have. Where you're not getting the cliche parent advice, you're not getting
No.
the cliche. I don't want to label people like. Friends, family, just people in general. You're getting somebody because you could go to, like, if I went to a construction worker and said, "Hey, man, what should I do?" He's probably not going to give me the best advice because
We
that's
can't
what.
generalize.
And yeah, but that's what we do. Sometimes we'll just be like, I'm so upset. So they run to their best friend, and their best friend's like,
boy.
their best friend's snorting crack. They're like, man, I think you should say fuck it. Like, or it's like you're like, shit, give me some of that, or just fuck it. Like, but that's why you have to. I think it's so important is just be aware of like, okay, if I'm gonna go to advice and I really do want help, then who am I going to go to? And it needs to be somebody that understands the brain. It needs to be somebody that has had the experience but has the actual programming code. Here's the code, here's the script. You can write it, you can do it, but it's going to be a process and a willingness from your end. Is something we are on we're on 58 minutes, so this is probably the last, I don't know, 10. It's 2 o'clock. Our lady should be here. She's not here. She's almost here. I said 2 o'clock, but good thing,
It's okay.
So just to wrap up, let me ask. Let's have a little fun now. These have been just some deep stuff.
Well,
Let's have some
and
fun.
one thing I'd like to add is because people, our brains, we call them potato heads. We automatically compare, delete, distort, generalize, and assume. And I think a lot of women, especially, they look at me now and they think, okay, she's got the kids, she's got, she travels, she does all these, interesting things with her life. And what they don't know is what I had to go in between to get here. And I had so many choices to either roll over and die or just keep going. What they don't know is, I got cut off from my family fund.
Right.
That I split a can of beans with my kids for dinner.
Right.
That I got evicted at one point.
Yep.
That, I've been through multiple jobs. That I had to go through college as a single mom and still maintained a 3.9 GPA because it's all about resourcefulness and grit and belief. If you want to, if your mind conceives it and your heart believes it, you can do it, but it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, it's a walk in the park, no problem. Oh my gosh, so many tears, so many days where I'm literally on my face on the floor screaming out to God. Like, what is next? What is next?
I think that part that you were getting to, and basically what you're saying is you can't, one thing we all do is we subconsciously, whether you think you're good at it or not, you judge people and you don't even know it, but you also judge yourself. And I'm horrible judge of myself. I am the worst because I will be like, this guy is 24, 5, 6, 7, and he's got this business and he's known globally. He's doing interviews with Mark Cuban and all these people. It's like, and I'm better than him, but he's doing it. And then you dig into his story, and his parents gave him $200,000 to start. And you're just sitting here like, okay, that would probably help. So why am I judging myself? I didn't have 200 grand to start.
Comparison is killer, Jake.
Right.
Killer.
So, and then I knew, just to segue to your little quick flex on your GPA, we'll get into some fun segments, but to end this, to wrap this up, that's one way, since you're going to flex your GPA, which was what, 4.0, or what'd you say?
No, see, I didn't do well enough. It was 3.9.
3.9. So one time I got a 3.8 and I was on Dean's List in college. But guess what? This is how I knew college was bullshit. I got on Dean's List with a 3.8, and my class was art or something like gym, art, and like something else that was like stupid. I think it was like,
it's not.
I think
stupid.
it was basketball class. I think that was like
how is that stupid? Words are so powerful.
No, because here's the thing. I literally told my dad I'm gonna make Dean's List next semester, and he's like, I bet, like, I'll get you a camera or something. I don't even think he said that. I literally just lied just now. Hold on. See, hello?
Hi, what unit are you in?
Oh, what unit are we?
We're not in a unit. We're at pool level.
We're at the pool level.
Pool level, okay.
Okay, see you.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, she's going to be in for a surprise when there's no guest. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up because I'm going to save these topics. But yeah, anyways, I knew I basically just I literally just got a 3.8, got on Dean's list, knew it was bullshit because I was like, this is bullshit. Anybody can get on Dean's list. I'll just schedule my schedule easy. And I scheduled it easy, got on Dean's list, felt like I was a G, but everybody's like, what? Put it on Instagram. People are like, dude, you're so smart. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. I'm like, did gym class, basketball class. I don't even know. But we got to wrap this up. She's coming up. I want to let her know what our plan is. So this is Bethany. We're going to be putting out a ton more content, more podcasts. We're going to do a lot of interviews with authors, athletes, creators. It's going to be a mix of like real life stories and just, I would say, just a mixture of culture and different events. So, yeah,